For the low, low price of $277 million, you too can gain special access to the country's national security apparatus. Extraordinary blockbuster new reporting in the New York Times reveals that Donald Trump's biggest donor and de facto wingman / co-president, Elon Musk, had been set to get a briefing on the U.S. military's plans for any possible conflict with China. Given that Elon Musk has extensive business interests in China and is the head of a major defense contractor, SpaceX, it is both a tremendous conflict of interest and a potential national security risk all rolled into one. This morning, Elon Musk arrived at the Pentagon. He was greeted by the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Now, what happens next gets a little murky. Since that reporting first broke, Team Trump has repeatedly and furiously denied that Elon Musk would be briefed on war plans. Pete Hegseth told reporters in the Oval Office today this, quote, "It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There were no war plans. There was no Chinese war plans. There was no secret plans," end quote. That's what they say. Now, that Hegseth did not say if China came up in their conversations today. Here's what the reporting said. Two U.S. officials telling the New York Times this, quote, "The Pentagon was scheduled on Friday to brief Elon Musk on the U.S. military's plan for any war that might break out with China," end quote. Should be no surprise to anyone that war plans are as closely guarded as anything. Times goes on to report this, quote, "If a foreign country were to learn how the United States planned to fight a war against them, it could reinforce its defenses and address its weaknesses, making the plans far less likely to succeed. The top secret briefing that exists for the China war plan has about 20 to 30 slides that lay out how the United States would fight such a conflict. It covers the plan beginning with the indications and warning of a threat from China to various options on what Chinese targets to hit over what time period that would be presented to Mr. Trump for decisions, according to officials with knowledge of the plan." Now, Musk does have a security clearance, but he is not in the military chain of command. His company SpaceX, though, has billions of dollars in contracts. According to Reuters, it is unclear exactly how much they are worth because many of them are classified. The New York Times reports that SpaceX is being paid to build military satellites to, quote, "try to confront rising military threats from China," which makes today's meeting and today's reporting, which they are furiously denying, even if war plans were not the subject of any discussion, the kind of thing that any defense contractor would be advantaged by, would dream of. One defense strategy expert telling the New York Times this, quote, "Individual executives rarely, if ever, get exclusive access to top Pentagon officials for such a sensitive briefing." The conflict of interest is alarming enough on its own. Now consider the fact that Elon Musk, through Tesla, has a lot of business in China. That country is Tesla's second largest market, and 1 out of every 2 Teslas in the world are made in Shanghai. Not only has Elon Musk avoided criticizing the Chinese government, he has at times sounded downright sympathetic to their point of view. Here's what he said about Taiwan back in 2023.
I think I understand China well. I've been there many times. I've met with the senior leadership at many levels of China for many years. China has, well, really since for like half a century or so, maybe longer at this point, their policy has been to sort of reunite Taiwan with China. From this standpoint, maybe it's analogous to like Hawaii or something like that, like an integral part of China that is arbitrarily not part of China.
Reunite? Not exactly how they see it in Taiwan. Not reassuring if you're wondering if Elon Musk has U.S. national security interests in mind. Musk and SpaceX have also been under investigation by the Pentagon's Inspector General over whether they were disclosing contacts with foreign leaders. New York Times reports that during the Biden administration, quote, "The Air Force, in fact, had denied a request by Musk for an even higher level of security clearance known as the Special Access Program, which is reserved for extremely sensitive classified programs, citing potential security risks associated with the billionaire." A briefing for Elon Musk about China at the Pentagon, despite his conflicts of interest and ties to that country, That's where we start today. One of the reporters on that New York Times story, national security reporter Julian Barnes, is here. Also joining us, retired four-star general and MSNBC military analyst, General Barry McCaffrey. And with me at the table for the hour, host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, president of the National Action Network, the Reverend Al Sharpton's here. Julian, a blockbuster piece of reporting with lots of incredible details. I want to start with that last one about an effort to up Elon Musk's security clearance that was rebuffed. Do we know what the concerns were when he sought that extremely high level of clearance?
Well, we know that as the leader of SpaceX, Elon Musk was having conversations with foreign leaders. He was not always reporting those conversations during the Biden administration to the Pentagon, which is a requirement of your security clearance. You have to talk about who you're talking to. You have to reveal that. And so that was the initial concerns. Was he talking to Russian officials, other government officials, and not completely disclosing that? Now, he has a security clearance now. President Trump has given him one, and Pete Hegseth has the power to share with him what he wants. But just because Pete Hegseth can share what he wants doesn't always mean there is a justification or a reason for doing that, or if it's the best decision.
I want to try to understand your sense of Trump's weird response to the story. I mean, there's an element of the Flynn piece of this where they have the right to do everything that you reported they were doing. It's norm busting. It reveals conflicts of interest, but they certainly, it's their prerogative if they want to show Elon Musk what they want to show him. But here's what Trump said about this reporting today.
We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we did, we're very well equipped to handle it. But I don't want to show that to anybody. But certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story.
My head swiveled around 3 times. One, he's putting baby in a corner. Elon's just good at, quote, cutting costs and doing a great job fighting waste, fraud, and abuse. Those are all quotes. But then for Trump to say Elon has business in China and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it's a fake story anyway. What?
Yeah, he ended on a fake story, but it wasn't a fake story. Look, this reporting was really solid. And, we knew that once this reporting was out there, that when Trump saw it, he would likely, if he learned about this meeting, he would likely cancel it. And my colleagues, Eric Schmidt and Maggie Haberman, have reported today that's just what happened, that after Trump learned about this meeting last night, after our reporting broke, he put an end to it. Not the meeting itself, but the discussion of the war plans. He explained in his Oval Office remarks why, right? That he does not think this is something that Elon needed to see. He cited very importantly, he incited the business conflicts, essentially putting some guardrails here on Elon Musk for perhaps the first time, and certainly kind of extraordinary limits that were not articulated before. So our reporting says that this meeting was going on. He was going to be briefed on the war plans. And then when Trump learned about it, the meeting was canceled.